Welcome to the Buzzline. We are episode 3, and we have a special treat for you today. We have 2 special interviews. Ms. Hedger, are you excited?
Yeah, and we had the same timing there on the 2.
I really like how you keep doing that on the screen. That's awesome.
Can't wait.
Our first interview today is actually with a parent and a student, so we're reaching out to the community. And then the second interview is a mystery one, but I will say they are a math teacher. So that's really 1 or 2 people. So I mean, it's just take your pick. I don't know. All right. All right, guys, welcome back. We have a special interview for you today on episode 3. We are reaching out to the community, talking to a parent and a student. Miss Hedger, do you want to attempt to introduce these 2? Do you remember what she wanted to be called? Do you remember?
Why would you put this on me?
Anyways, I got it. We're here with Vicky and Angelina. I call Vicky Mom, music booster lady.
Yep.
That's what she's known as, correct?
Sure, that works.
I have known you as like the most positive, helpful mom, one of the most positive, helpful moms in Kirtland since I've been there. Angelina, I've known you since what grade? 8th grade? 7th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Man. And you have gone through a lot of hair colors.
I have. Purple now.
You've been a great student to know as I've worked there. So we want to talk to you guys a little bit about this crazy situation. And I do not mean the fact that WrestleMania is taped this year and on 2 nights, which is so weird. So weird. But anyway.
It's going to be a nightmare.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to watch it just to see.
Oh, absolutely.
How much of a train wreck WrestleMania is this year. But
right.
I don't know. I'm not excited. Anyways. Also, Kelly, you're not watching WrestleMania?
No.
Okay.
I know nothing about that.
We can Zoom and we'll watch it together. It'll be fun.
I'll teach you.
Yeah. But the other situation is our distance learning situation, and it was just announced yesterday that we'll be doing this for a minimum till May 1st, so another 4 weeks. People probably get tired of hearing us give advice, so we wanted to hear kind of how you guys are handling the situation, maybe any advice you have for parents and for students, younger and older. So yeah, I'll let you guys just kind of talk a little bit, and we'll interrupt you and ask some questions.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first? Well, I have actually been working from home for 4 years already. So I started working from home when Angelina was in 7th grade. So I know what it feels like to work from home, to have a middle schooler, now a high schooler. It is interesting. It's tough. So the parents out there that are struggling with this, you are struggling for a reason, because it's really hard. It's hard to focus. Focus is tough. Focus is tough at work when you're in your cubicle or wherever it is that you work, but it is even more difficult when you're at home. And, just trying to find that schedule, trying to find that routine, and it's not going to be perfect. I mean, the reality is you have to be patient with yourself and let it go. I've actually seen quite a few, posts and stories and things recently, sort of reminding parents, you're not homeschooling. Right? You're at home. The kids are distance learning. We have the most amazing resources in the Kirtland community, and use them, right? You don't have to understand Common Core. I don't understand anything that she does in her schooling right now. I got nothing. She has taught me more about U.S. history in the past, 3 semesters than I ever learned. So, listen to them, let them teach you, learn from them. You don't have to know. The answer is yes, Mr. Beans.
No, that's awesome. I think you talked about I believe you're 100% correct in a lot of that. And I think that one thing we're going to find, students levels, their ability levels do vary. But you're absolutely right. I mean, there's classes that some of my students now bring me things, and I'm not in that class, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Right. But when you talk about resources, I think that makes me think about how much support there is in regards to problem solving and figuring things out. So even though you're not able to get the answer right away, a lot of those students use those resources to solve those problems. So what you're talking about is kind of having that positive, helpful structure so kids feel supported. And you're 100%, even with me. I mean, there are social media posts about our jobs being easy right now. We have openly talked about, this is, to my opinion, this is way more difficult.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more time, but it's a lot more sitting. Like, we're used to walking around, interacting, getting things, boom, boom, boom. I'm in a dungy basement with my daughter screaming my name from the, and I'm sitting here typing, trying to make things as easy as possible. And it's a lot of work. But I think there is no right answer. There's no perfect solution. I think the key word there is structure. So I enjoyed that you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Angelina, what are you doing, Angelina? How do you wake up on time? Because all my kids are telling me, I'm like, what's the biggest challenge? And they're like, waking up on time. I'm like, you already get to sleep in an extra hour or two. So how does your day start?
Well, I'm very lucky because I have study hall first period.
Oh man.
So.
Wow.
There it is. That's the secret.
Yeah. But I guess this is like a test of us as students. It's a test of our ability to discipline ourselves and be able to understand, like, okay, things need to get done. Like, how am I going to go about doing that? And so I definitely think that giving your student the ability to, like, try for themselves to do the things that we have to do online on our own, just to see if it works, just because this is like conditioning for college, because you're not going to have your parent to.
I said the same thing to my kids today. I literally said, like, this is what I was talking about. At some point, myself, Ms. Hedger, other people, we're not going to be there to make this as structured for you and guide you. And whether we like it or not, this is our situation right now. And there is a lot of resources and support, but that you're right. This is it. Like, let's see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, what would you say to students who are struggling with maybe setting their own schedule or their structure, or maybe just getting frustrated immediately and giving in?
I think that one of the things that I would try to do is like, take a break from your screen. Like, between classes, you don't have to go. There's like technically a 2-minute window between when your first class ends and when your second class starts, where you don't have to join the Zoom call yet. So I would just, like, get up, walk around, like, do something other than schoolwork, because during the day we have walks between classrooms that, like, give us a break from learning, for even if it's for a minute, to get to your next class, but it gives you a break from, like, your brain constantly thinking about stuff. So I guess, just try to go away from everything for a couple minutes between classes.
Are you using, like, a planner or anything, or do you just kind of keep track of your assignments a certain way?
In front of us, there is a whiteboard that I have hanging up that has all my classes written on it, and I write down, like, what I have to do when it's due and stuff. And then
I will post that. I got a picture of it. I didn't even mean to set that question up, but I have a picture, and I will post that on the podcast where you're talking, so we can see it. But that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I also have, like, just a pad of sticky notes right here, that when an assignment is said, so I don't have to, like, reach up really awkwardly on a Zoom call, I write it down there, and then later I'll transfer it all to the board, so then I have everything that I need in one place, but I have, like, a sticky note for each class.
I could hug you right now. I could just, like, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
What platforms are most of your teachers using? Google Classroom and trying to do a Zoom once a week, or are you Zooming every day?
It varies depending on the teacher. Like, I know some of my teachers were kind of doing Zooms every day. Some of us were doing them every other day. Some of them we haven't done a Zoom yet.
Do you like meeting live?
It's challenging.
Okay.
Because, like, while it is nice to be able to talk to your teacher if you have a question right then and there, like, it's really hard to focus when you're looking directly at all of your friends and your students that are in the class with you, because when you're in class, you're not looking at any of them, but now you're looking at all of them, and it's kind of overwhelming.
We just had a staff meeting with every teacher in the middle and high school, and all we really do is, we have Mr. Amstutz talking in the corner, and we're just like looking at everybody. We're like, oh man, oh okay, I just had my daughter with me the whole last meeting, so that was probably very distracting. That's a good point. Mom, are you seeing anything? I mean, I guess, are you seeing any of this stuff going on, like from your perspective?
Yeah, so it's actually funny. My actual desk is right outside her door. I mean, again, that's where I sit and work every day. And it is interesting, we're hollering back and forth to each other like, hey, Mom, I have a call in a minute, don't come in or be quiet. And I'm hollering back 20 minutes later, hey, I'm about to get on my call. But I can hear the conversation. I could hear, was it algebra this morning? Chemistry. See, I don't know what they're doing, but I can hear the instruction, and that's so interesting for me. Because how often as parents do we get to hear what goes on in our students' classroom?
Sure.
So hearing that and hearing the planning that went into that. She's in an English group. They're doing an English project. I could hear her on the smaller group Zoom the other day with just
cool.
the 3 or 4 kids that were on that English project, and it was interesting to hear them interacting with each other, because that's not something as a parent that we get to hear, that sort of classroom activity. So although we have a closed door, between us, and because she is, I'm lucky she's stays on task and does what she has to do. And I understand the younger the students are, the harder that's going to be. That's just obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really encouraging to hear that it's not just being treated as a, here's an assignment, go do it. But they're actually meeting and connecting and teaching. And that's very encouraging to hear. And not, there's a lot of school districts around us that don't have what we have. They don't have, they weren't able to send every kid home with a laptop 24 hours after all this was announced, right down to through our elementary school. That doesn't happen everywhere. So we are very, very lucky, I think, to be able to do that. And it's encouraging to hear that the teachers are using it to the best that they can as well.
I think one of the coolest things, and Kelly will tell you, Miss Hedger, sorry, I got to stop calling her first name on these things. Miss Hedger will tell you, I love working with the people that I do, but I'm never usually I'm not one to be loud about like, teachers are the best, we're great, whatever. We do our job and we go home and, we do the best we can. But I will say with this situation, reflecting on the things I've seen, because not everyone is as good as technology with, I'm a pretty nerdy, geeky guy. So this is all fine to me, but like, you have to imagine these teachers have been asked to learn a whole new method in, a week or two. And yes, we have support from our administration. They've done a fantastic job, but even they had like 48 hours to get us going in those meetings. And to see what some of these teachers are doing, they really are just becoming better teachers because they're learning all these tools. And they really, they're trying. It's so funny to have some of these meetings and these text conversations, and we're talking about a lot of different things, and it is kind of inspiring to see some of the things that we are doing. And it's not perfect, and it's just going to get better as we go.
Right.
Even all we talk about after our classes are, okay, how can we get kids more involved? How can we do this? And I don't know, it's weird that this situation has made that conversation even bigger than it was before, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Angelina, how are you talking to your friends and stuff? Do you do this at all with your friends, or like?
So funny enough, on the first day of school,
whatever.
Yeah. But on the first day that we were doing this, my lunch table, we all have a group chat, and we did a group FaceTime, and we ate lunch together. So that was really funny. But yeah, we just kind of FaceTime each other every once in a while, because we're not in the classroom and we can't ask questions to each other right then and there or to the teacher. We're really using communications with each other to our advantage to help with assignments and stuff like that. So
absolutely,
a lot of us are doing assignments on group FaceTimes because we're all getting each other's inputs on what we think is the right thing to do for it. And then a lot of it's just hanging out with each other on FaceTime.
That's cool.
Yeah.
One thing though that I've seen, you guys have been going for walks every night.
Yeah.
Are you going to new places every time?
No, just all the park systems around here.
Rotate around.
Yeah, Chapin and Penitentiary and North Chagrin. We are on. Last night was day 17, so We haven't missed a day of walking in 17
That's
days.
so cool.
That's awesome. Where's your favorite spot to go so far?
I can tell you my least favorite.
All right, least favorite.
The mudslide.
Yeah, the hill behind Squire's Castle. We hit the day after.
Oh yeah.
And it was like climbing a straight up mountain in 3 inches of mud. It was a disaster.
Wow.
But I didn't fall. That's all that mattered.
Now I want to go do that. That's a good idea, actually. That's good. Hey, Hedger, do you want to ask some fun questions?
Fun questions.
Yeah, we didn't plan this, so we'll just make them up as we go.
Yeah, we'll just make them up. All right, I asked this in the last one, but I think this is a great question. Mr. Beans hates it, but if you watch, what do you guys think of garden gnomes?
What do you think of garden gnomes?
Garden gnomes?
Yep.
I
Do you know what they are?
Yeah.
think they're making a comeback. I mean, come on. Garden gnomes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good answer.
They were boring. They were all the same. You had like maybe 3 or 4 styles, and then they threw a woman in there.
Right.
Now they're just everything. You can get a garden gnome for anything, any sports team, any career, anything. They're coming back. They're
Exactly. That's a great answer.
That's what Hedger was looking for. That's what you needed. This is for both of you. What is the last video game you played?
So, Hello Neighbor.
What's that? I'm stumped.
it's
Looking
so
it up.
weird.
Hello.
It's so weird.
Oh, wait. I think I might know what that is.
It's the one where you have to like sneak into the guy's house.
Yeah. Is it on the iPhone? Or is it like iDevice?
Oh, I have it on the Switch.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
Someone's house?
Yeah, it's so creepy.
Hello Neighbor is a survival horror stealth game,
Yeah.
and the goal is to sneak into the basement of a neighbor's house to uncover a secret.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
Creepy.
It's like
awesome.
a PG horror game.
Yeah. Okay. I remember seeing that on the
God.
App Store.
Beans is downloading that tonight.
Oh, if she's playing it, I'm playing it. Yeah. What about you, Mom?
Yeah, I'm not very good at games. I try Mario Kart with her, and I am lucky if I come in 11th out of 12 every time.
Wait,
I'm
who do you pick?
I don't know. Whichever one looks coolest.
You gotta pick. From what I remember, I like Luigi or Yoshi.
I use Yoshi. She
Okay.
usually picks her own me.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, you can't do that.
it looks like me.
I always pick Princess Peach, obviously.
So you guys have
either go Yoshi or Toad.
you have a Switch?
Mm-hmm.
I really do want to switch. I want to play Zelda really bad, and my little sister was always into Animal Crossing, and she's been talking about that. Did you guys get that?
I don't have Animal Crossing on the Switch, but I have it on my phone.
Okay, yeah, I do too. Yeah, I'm a pretty big dork, so
I don't play video games.
I don't play video games. I watch The Bachelor. All right, your turn.
All right. What is your favorite restaurant or food?
I haven't left the house in a long time, so that's a hard question. to
Out
answer.
at all for
Like
food?
if it wasn't in quarantine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so boring, but probably Chipotle.
That's
Fine.
a good choice.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I love the San Francisco Stir Fry place up on 615 in Menor. That's my
I've actually
favorite.
never been there.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, my wife and I were gonna go there one time, but we didn't though.
Love it. And he's open right now still for carryout.
Okay, we had a rough day yesterday at the house. So my wife's like, I want carry out. We've been very, careful of not going out and stuff, but we got Cocos Locos for Mexican. Oh man, I mean, there's no way it's good for you, but geez, that was so good, and I was so full.
The San Francisco Stir Fry is pretty good. It's all fresh. It's a great place. I love it. Local
Okay.
owned guy, real nice.
We might have to check that out.
Check it out.
We'll do 2 more. I'll do 1, and you can end, Hedger. So I'll give you some time to think about something better than garden gnomes. Favorite WWE superstar and why?
I knew you were gonna go there.
Nope.
Past or present?
Any?
Oh,
I'll share mine after you guys.
oh.
I'm gonna go right now with Bray Wyatt because he is
Yeah.
just unreal with this character that they're playing him out in.
I agree.
And you can't. There's nobody. We've said every time we watch, we say nobody could have pulled this character off
Yeah.
except him. the transition when he's doing the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
His facial transition, his body transition, everything about the way he does this character is amazing.
My wife doesn't even watch. What's that?
Show?
What?
Is it a show?
What does that mean?
Is
So
a show or are people wrestling?
Oh my God. All right. I'll tell her later. I'll catch her up.
Catch her up.
Even when my wife I don't watch as much as I used to at all, but I keep up with stuff, and I'll have it on sometimes, and like the Firefly Funhouse comes on, and my wife will stop and be like, "That's crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." They did a replay of WrestleMania on ESPN the other day, and Bray Wyatt was on, and it was so crazy to see him like 5-6 years ago,
right
now, and I'm like, "Wow, it's nuts." So, okay, my turn. This is super hard. One thing. Oh, were you the same one, or was it something different?
Well, I don't know.
Just do you want me to go?
She said Bray Wyatt, so I'll say Roman Reigns.
Okay, Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
that's interesting. All right, I don't like Roman Reigns. I don't know. I'm like a wrestling hipster. I'm the guy that would boo him.
I was a Shield, like diehard Shield fan.
Okay.
So
and we miss Dean.
So I'm watching Dean on AEW. I'm watching the new. I like AEW a lot because again, one thing people do not know about me is there's two things that I know. My most knowledgeable areas in life are music production and professional wrestling. My wife will tell you, like, I know more than I need to know. I won't talk about it too much because it's embarrassing. But, man, this is actually really tough. I didn't have an answer when I said I would answer. So there's two things here. My all-time favorite is I'm a cliche, and I met him once, and it was amazing. Hulk Hogan is amazing. He's whatever. So I paid $125 to meet him like last summer.
I met Becky Lynch at a Comic-Con once.
I paid $100 to get her into Becky Lynch's Comic-Con.
Totally worth it, right? Totally worth it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do it again.
I'll send you that picture too.
I'll put my picture of me and Hulk Hogan and my daughter up on here on the podcast. But I would have to say, I'm a big nerd about like how good they are in the ring, like their ring work. So I have to say Shawn Michaels. I can watch Shawn Michaels matches all day long. He's just so good. Kelly, don't you feel like you're missing out now?
I just feel lost.
We'll get you into it.
I know who Hulk Hogan is though. Like that name rings a bell.
Have you heard the Undertaker before? What? Okay, I'll send you a YouTube link. My God.
Don't act like it's that weird.
Do you guys have the network?
No, but it's free right now.
Yeah.
I know. I got 3 months for free because I'm poor, so I just wanted to watch WrestleMania. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll move on. Kelly, last question.
All right, last question. We've been tweaking this one, but since we are with the music boosters, all this fun, Angelina's in band. If you had to pick a superhero for Mr. Jingledine, who would you pick?
Mr. D.
Pick a superhero that he would be?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
By the way, have you seen his beard recently?
Yes.
Creepy.
Wow.
I think it's phenomenal.
You're watching Mr. D, that's intense.
Mr. Amstutz called him a professional wrestler today, actually. He said he's like a professional wrestler. Yeah.
I mean, part of me wants to say Hulk just because he's so tall. But, I don't know.
We put you on the spot. That's a solid answer.
I can't really think of one either. He's like tall, happy, and kind of quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here, I'm just going to do this. There's a glare. There's me.
Is mine over still?
There we go.
No, I'll have to pull it off my phone. I'll send you Angelina's Becky Lynch picture. I don't know what I would make Mr. D. A superhero.
I know. That was probably a bad question. See, I didn't research before.
If you would have sent us that question this morning, I guarantee
we would have had answers.
We would have come up with something amazing by now.
Email us later if you think of something. I'll throw it in there.
All right.
Mom and Angelina, anything you guys want to add before we go? And we have at least 4 weeks of distance learning left.
I would just say be patient. I to the parents out there, you don't have to understand it all. You don't have to get it. Just be patient. Take your breaks. Like Angelina said, take your breaks. You know, keep your life at home the way it would be if they were going to school, even if that means packing a lunch every day, so everyone's not wandering in and asking you what's for lunch today. If you're trying to get through your day as a working parent, suddenly working from home, try to keep your life as routine as you can, and get the kids up in the morning, get everybody washed, get yourself ready, make lunches, whatever you have to do, keep some sort of schedule, and that'll help you keep sane. And if the schedule breaks, it breaks. Just keep trying.
I keep saying I'm going to work out before school every morning. I'm like 7 a.m. workout, 8 a.m., and then I'm like 0 for 5. But I'm going to do it one day. Angelina, anything you want to add before we go?
I don't know, just that, like, this is kind of a random, like, really specific detail, but one thing that I do every day to get myself, like, in the zone to do stuff is I try to, like, get dressed. Like, I try to get out of my pajamas.
No, it's huge.
I'm, like, in the act of, like, if I was going to school, I would be doing everything that I could.
Right.
And then sitting down and pretending that I'm at school.
A lot of people will tell you that's a really, really good idea. And probably I should do that too. So
she did not learn that from me, because for the last 4 years I haven't gotten out of pajamas. So
that's amazing. I just want to say this has been really, really helpful and probably my favorite so far. Angela, I am very proud of you since, seeing you for 7th and 8th grade, how far you've come. And Mom, you've always been super helpful to us. So this is super, super valuable for everybody. And we're going to promote the heck out of it because I think that a lot of people will enjoy it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. You guys take care. And I think, Miss Hedger, we might have another interview after this.
We do have another interview after
All right. All right. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to episode 3. We have our special guest interview, the one and only math master, Mrs. Marco. How are you?
Hello, I am good.
Mrs. Marco had to change location, so we just got a small tour of her house, and she was asked to be quiet because her daughter is napping. So this is the fun part of the life of distance learning and being an adult at home. That's all I got for that. Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Hedger.
Well, with that, one of our first questions that we've sort of been asking all the teachers is, what sort of your plan for distance learning? What platforms do you plan to use?
Can I interrupt you really quick? I'm sorry. This is Ms. Hedger, or Ms. Hedger, Mrs. Marco. I miss you. I miss working in the class with you. This isn't nearly as fun.
I know.
When there's math questions, I get like nervous because I feel like I pulled out. I wish I could show you. I pulled out paper and pen the other day for that one barn question, and I was writing it down. So I miss being in a class with a master like you. So I'm sorry, Miss Hedger. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Our week, so.
Yeah.
I didn't hear your question though. You cut out.
Oh, the question is, this is not good. What's your plan for distance learning? What platforms do you plan to utilize? Do you plan to do Zooms, Google Meet? What's sort of your plan?
So today was my first experience with Zoom, which was awesome. I got to see all the kids, which was great. But I've been just trying to keep it as simple and, easy for them to use in terms of we're doing what we've done in class. So Pearson, Schoology, and then trying to do the Zooms as often as possible, especially now that we know that we're going to be doing this a little bit longer than we had anticipated.
Right.
What's your I know we use Pearson a lot. Pearson's new for us this year, but I think it's, especially now, it's kind of like a super good resource for these guys. Do you have any specific advice for when they are using Pearson, what they can do if they get stuck or frustrated?
Yeah, this was a big question. Before we ended our Zoom sessions today, I actually had every student tell me what their favorite part about distance learning is, and then what the hardest part for them is. And the number one response to the hardest part is the fact that they do not have me there to ask questions to while they're working, which of course, that's the hardest part for me too. So when it comes to Pearson, I told them to utilize the textbook. I feel like they forget that it is a textbook. They look at it as more of an assignment type of platform. But I said, go to the e-text. There's so many examples and there's so many extra videos that you can watch that I might not assign that you can go and look at for some extra help.
The one thing I like, I don't know if you saw this, Miss Hedger, but Mrs. Marco bought like a whiteboard and she did like a
Oh,
video lesson of just herself. It was like 10 minutes and she reviewed the problem from Pearson and she walked you through it. And so that's like an addition to the Pearson and like a
that's
Zoom
awesome.
session. Yeah, pretty cool.
I think the one thing too that the students are having some difficulty with is that all of these platforms are sort of getting like flooded with everybody trying to log in. And I know like Pearson was down for like a few minutes today. I know Schoology's been down. So that's one of the things as well. The stuff we're used to working all the time is sort of getting a lot of traffic.
Yeah. And I said, don't be so quick to, get frustrated with that. I said, we're all in the same boat. If Pearson's not working for you, it's not working for me either.
Yeah.
So just, try back in a couple hours. I know for me personally, my assignments typically aren't due until the next time we meet. So that allows for some flexibility in the event that a website does go down for a little while.
Who do you think can do more push-ups, Mr. Coxon or Mr. Moran?
Push-ups, Mr. Coxon.
So do you think, okay, what about like a 2-mile jog?
Oh, Moran will crush.
No hesitation.
Yeah, I think
Here and do a
actually funny story. We used to, well, first of all, I trained for my half marathon with Mr. Moran. So
Okay.
He's pretty much the only reason I was able to actually complete that.
Okay.
Because I trained with him and he is like insane runner. And I remember we would work out sometimes after school, and one day Mr. Coxon and I tried to run. I think he went one time around the track and he was done. So
That is strength. That is skill set.
I do have something to back up that answer, and that's it.
Good. Go ahead, Miss Hedger.
All right. Let's see here. My first question will be, this is so hard. I feel like we're recycling, but it's all right.
Make them up.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
How many tacos do you think that you could eat in one sitting? Mr. Bean said barrio tacos. I say you pick the tacos that you like the best, and you give us that answer.
Okay, if it's only tacos, like no chips, salsa,
No
before,
apps.
because
No
that
apps.
really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a game changer.
I'm gonna say like 6 or 7.
Wow. Okay.
I
Everyone
think
surprises me.
6 or 7 too. Mr. Bean said 5.
But I'm thinking barrio though. See, I don't know if you guys are thinking basics. Like,
Yeah.
Like
I'm
a
talking.
taco.
See, if I got a box of Taco Bell tacos and it was just like the meat, cheese, tomatoes, and the mild sauce, yes, I could probably eat like 10 or 11
Yeah.
for sure. But
If I was
barrio,
really, I mean, this is like, talking if you're really hungry.
I'm always really hungry.
Not eating all day.
Yeah, that's one thing about this schedule change. I gotta get back onto like, I eat breakfast, but after that, it's just a mess. Like until dinner time, like I'm just.
I know. It's
whatever
hard.
it's whatever I see. I'm like grabbing.
Yeah.
it. I ate like tortilla chips from takeout for like a lunch a minute ago. The bags. This is the bag. It's gone. Anyways. Mrs. Marco, this is for you and for your husband. What is the last video game you guys played?
Well, my husband likes video games.
I know, that's why I asked.
He plays Rocket League.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's his game of choice.
That game is fun, I'm not gonna lie. And it's
He
free
has
too, I
moved
think.
on from the Call of Duty, which I guess I'm happy about because Rocket League is more of a like sports game.
Kinda, yeah.
I guess.
It's fun.
So yeah, I can tell I hear him a lot. So
Oh, does he talk into a microphone to people?
yes.
That's so funny. Okay.
Ah,
I don't
His
do
friends.
that. Okay.
His friends in different states. That's how they
I
communicate.
love it.
Me personally, I was
Uh-huh.
never a video game person, but I will say if I had to go back and say which video game I played last in my life, it was probably Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice.
Or The Sims.
Oh my God, I love The
yeah.
Sims.
Yeah, I played.
got
I
to
got
make
all
the
the
house.
expansion
Yeah.
packs. Yeah.
That was cool to me. I was kind of over it after I made the house. I just like designing everything.
Yeah, I didn't like you have to like make them go to work and like
Yeah.
clean up, like whatever. I already do that in my real life. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I would. Yeah.
That's cool. See, that was a good answer. That was a good answer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss Hedger.
All right. Who would you say, this is totally off the top of my head, who would you say is your hero or someone that you look up to?
I mean, the cliche answer is always your parents, right? But I would say, and especially just during this time that we're going through right now, I'd probably say my grandma. I'm lucky enough to still have one grandparent, and this has been really hard for me to not see her.
Yeah.
My parents live right around the block from her, so I'm typically at my grandma's 1 to 2 times a week. And she's, loves seeing Gemma, and more than me now, obviously, but yeah, I really look up to her, and she's handling this like a pro, and she's really mad no one will come visit her, though. She doesn't understand why. I mean, my grandma's totally with it, but she doesn't get why we won't come visit her. She doesn't care. We're worth the risk to her.
Do you have an iPhone?
She doesn't, and that's what's hard.
Yeah.
So my cousins and I, we did a virtual, just, hangout time a couple nights ago, and my aunt was at my grandma's. So she got to see us then, but we're staying away for a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
My grandpa's been in assisted living for like a month. And it's literally half a mile from my house, but they're locked down. So we can't even go see him. So I can drop off things for him. So I brought him a brownie and some food and stuff, but he has dementia. So on the beginning of dementia, so he's kind of confused. It's hard to explain to him what's going on, and it's crazy. But we did get to do. They did set up FaceTime sessions this past weekend, and it was kind of cool for him to see us.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but you're right. That's a whole nother ball game for them.
Yeah.
And you're right. You can't see them. It's just not worth the risk, really, of passing that along. So.
Absolutely not.
Right.
All right. Well, back to a fun question. Favorite question of the podcast. If you had to set what superhero do you think Mr. Leone represents? If you had to pick a superhero, who is Mr. Leone?
Okay. Well, because I've watched the other Buzz lines, I know that Superman and Spider-Man are already taken. I don't know many superheroes, so I'm going to go with Captain America.
Okay. Just default choice, Captain America.
Default, and I hope he appreciates that.
So
what are some of the qualities of Captain America? He flies over everything, right?
Watches, yeah.
He has that shield.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Leone has that water cup with a lion on it or whatever. So that's kind of like his shield. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Leone would protect America. He listens to NPR and stuff. So I feel like he's pretty well informed. I don't, It's
the best I've got. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
That's really good. Cedra, you take the next one.
Well, we have to show some love to Mr. Amstutz. So if you could pick a cartoon character for Mr. Amstutz, what cartoon character would you pick?
Okay, for this one, I am going with Buzz Lightyear.
That's so good.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah. I think, Buzz Lightyear had to protect all the people and look over them, the other toys.
Uh-huh.
But also wanted to make sure everyone was kind of working as a team, which I think Mr. Amstutz does.
And I could see Amstutz thinking his wings will make him fly and never giving up trying.
Mm-hmm.
How Buzz, it took a while for Buzz to just let it go that he really can't fly. Because Amstutz, he's courageous like that, very ambitious. All right, last question, and we got to go because this is a long episode because we actually interviewed a parent and a student for part 1 of our podcast. So.
Oh, very cool. I can't wait to see it.
Turned out good. Last question. What is one thing you do as a teacher that you do that you swore you wouldn't do as a teacher? What's one thing you do in the classroom that you're like, oh man, I'm that teacher, or that something like that?
This is a hard question. I should really defer the question back to you since you teach with me, Mr. Reedens. And what's one thing that you wish I didn't do? I will say though, I am very sensitive to noises, like a pen tapping, a pencil tapping, someone even just whispering in the background. I get very it's just like a sensitivity I almost have to sounds.
She corrects me. I'll be talking to a student and she'll be like, "Can we quiet down?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, that was me." And like it happens all the time.
I don't like tapping either, like the pen clicking in and out when they go like this, like a lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's necessarily just like a pet peeve of mine or something that bothers me and that I didn't think I'd always do, but I wish it didn't bother me so much.
You know who's worse than you is Mr. Braddock. He
Really?
like I say one thing and he'll go shh. And he doesn't even realize it's me, and like it happens all the time. I just keep
can
going.
see that.
That's great.
I can see that with Mr. Braddock.
Oh, anything you want to add, Mrs. Marco, as we venture into the next 4 weeks minimum of distance learning?
No. Honestly, it's, not an ideal situation, but I feel like everyone just needs to stay positive. Everyone's just doing the best that they can, and I think everyone has to keep that in mind. There's a lot going on in our world, so we got to think big picture at the same time,
Yep.
But I miss all of you. I miss all of my coworkers, and I miss all the students a lot. So I hope that we see each other sooner rather than later.
I miss Mr. Bell.
Yeah, me too.
He's funny.
Yeah,
I think
Mr.
we all
Cullen
do.
here.
And Spike too. I miss Spike.
No.
Yeah.
It was her birthday the other day.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for being on. We appreciate it.
You.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
See you guys later.